Tim Warwood has been to Glencoe in Scotland, a forward-thinking resort that's also been looking back to a very special anniversary year.
Leave the great shipyards of Glasgow and head north, and the scenery begins to morph around you. Just 1.5 hours drive from Scotland's largest city, you'll find Rannoch Moor, one of the last remaining wildernesses in Europe. And here, proudly encircled by the towering peaks of Glencoe that have drawn climbers for centuries, is Malavori, a true skier's mountain.
By trial and error and a lot of output of energy, we decided that Glencoe was the place that gave us the best chance as a permanent, long, straight drift of snow that you could actually rely on.
Glencoe is the nearest thing to an alpine slope there is. It's got the angle, and you really do look down.
Philip Rankin was one of many enthusiastic post-war skiers that simply grew tired of slogging up this mountain the hard way, so he decided to do something about it. He left his job at an engineering firm in Glasgow, threw his bowler hat into the River Clyde, and quite simply never looked back.
In 1952, I got charge of the Scottish Ski Club Journal, and I started to bang my drum about this mountain in Glencoe. Having shot my mouth off, I was put in charge of it. So the ski club can claim the credit for the first ski lift in Scotland. In the summer of 1955, it was erected.
I mean, these guys were real hardcore. They had a vision and it was going to happen, whether they had help or not. It's all thanks to him that skiing is happening in Scotland, really, because without his inspiration, there wouldn't be any of the resorts, I don't think.
So on the 60th anniversary of the first permanent lift here in Glencoe, I'm going back to my roots, because believe it or not, the very first time that I snowboarded on snow was here over 20 years ago. Oh yes, look at this. You just wouldn't think you're in the British Isles, would you? I'm following the same route that Philip and his colleagues used to transport tons of machinery up the mountain by hand 60 winters ago. The overnight snow is perfect to ride, and luckily for me, pretty soft. Amazingly, I still have 2 more lifts to take to reach the summit, where I'm meeting the owner, Andy. Here we are at the top. Absolutely breathtaking views up here, but it's quite hard to imagine Philip and the boys back in the day lugging all that equipment right up here to the top.
No, it's incredible. We're at almost 3,700 feet up here, and they brought all the kit from about 1,000 foot down in Rannoch Moor, and a lot of it was hauled and pulled up the hill because there's no other way to get it up in these days.
Proper dedication there. Well listen, we've come to the top. We should head down, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. Let's show you some of the mountain.
Yes, a little bit of local knowledge.
I think the first skiers were probably more mountaineers than, than
like
skiers.
Like that guy right there.
Yeah, and they were quite used to walking a long distance to get their turns in. And I think because it's such a challenge and the weather can be so bad, when you do get a good day, it just makes it all the more worthwhile.
Beautiful blue skies, powdery snow. Doesn't get any better than this. Woohoo! Andy's taking me to meet ex-British slopestyle champion Scott McMorris and local hero Sketch Nickel. With the weather closing in, we take one last ride to the top, but this time we aren't taking the T-bar.
Glencoe's got the best natural terrain. It's got all the valleys, the drops, the gullies, and it's just a winter playground. It's got a hardcore about it as well compared to the other ones. This is where the best riders will come.
We tend to attract more people that are into skiing backcountry than most other resorts in Scotland, probably most resorts in the world.
Yeah.
So we do have that hardcore of skiers who actually don't like us to groom the piece. They actually like it to be left the way that they say it should be, which is untracked and with windlips and cornices that they can play about on.
Whatever they've done all over Scotland now, they still have not got anywhere near the standard of Glencoe, and they see it in the standard of skiing.
Before we go, it's time for Ski Social. First question comes in from Draco. He wants to know how to progress from going from straight airs